part of
I
a
do.
few years ago?
Yeah, a few years. Yeah, a long time ago. But no, that's as a young kid, that's one of the most memorable tournaments you have. So that was the first time we, billeted into a house and lived with a different family for the week. We experienced that. We didn't win the tournament, unfortunately, but we had a blast. We did the tubing, we had the beaver tails, we got to play in an iconic arena in front of thousands of fans at that age was something you remember forever. And trading pins. I probably still have that collection somewhere in my parents' basement. So a lot of good times.
It's no secret that the season wasn't as expected for the Natural Predators last year. It's been a few months that the season is done. Did you have time to reflect on what happened and how do you foresee next season?
Yeah, try to forget about that one. I think we're at that stage where we're coming in with some new excitement. I think for some of the new guys last year, including myself, it was obviously a tough transition, and now we're coming in a lot more comfortable. We're comfortable with our surroundings. Our families are settled in. You have an understanding of the systems and the players and how to utilize the skill set that we have that just didn't click last year for whatever reason, and just focusing on having a much better start. I think that was a snowball effect last year with the start that we had, so hopefully we get off to a better start this year, and you never know what can happen.
March just told us about the fact that there's maybe a little less hype this year compared to last year. He says that maybe you guys could surprise even more.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you agree with that?
that's certainly not as much hype. I think probably most people from the outside are probably not giving us a chance to rebound, so that's fine. We understand what we need to do better as a group. Like I said, hopefully you just flush what happened last year, move on, learn from it, and then come in with just a newfound excitement. It was tough, especially for a lot of the older guys that had high expectations last year. Come Christmas time to be out of the playoff picture, some unfamiliar territory for a lot of us at that time of the year, and the season can drag on a little bit. So,
Marchie just had a few good words for your contribution on the ice and in the locker room. Can you return the favor, or?
Yeah, no, listen, Marchie and I go way back. Obviously, we played together a little bit in Tampa and have become good friends since, and obviously coming to the same spot last year was exciting. It didn't go, as planned for both of us, but we were there, beside each other every step of the way. I think he's, obviously a tremendous player. You've seen what he's done on the ice, but he's a great guy to have in the locker room as well. He keeps it light, keeps guys on their toes, and listen, he's been successful for a reason. So we all take that, what happened last year, a little personal, and we don't want it to happen again. And we're looking forward, like I said, to come into camp and just have a little more excitement than how we finished the year last year.
You just talked about settling in Nashville with your family. Do you think it's a bigger deal than most people realize for a player like you who spend their whole career at the same place to just move to another city with the kids? That was the same for Marchie, but
yeah, I mean, it was. It's tough because you get to July 1st as a free agent and things happen really fast, right? You don't really have much time. Teams need answers, and you pick a team, you sign, and then it's like, okay, now you got to start from scratch. I always use the line, I used to have all the answers, and I went to a place where I had all the questions, right? So I was in Tampa for 16 years, and anytime there was an issue with anyone else, they'd come to me and I'd have the answer, or someone who had the answer. So that was an adjustment for sure. I was pleasantly surprised with how easy the transition was, from a family perspective. It's a tremendous city to live in. The schools are great, the sports for the kids. That stuff was good. I thought the hockey would be easier for me and that would be harder for them, and it was a little bit of the opposite. So that's the way it goes. And like I said, this year already coming back, we've been in Nashville for a week. The kids are back in school, and you already feel more comfortable coming into a more familiar situation. So that'll help the mindset as well.
How did you achieve to find your own place or your own role in this locker room? From there's Roman Yossi, there's Ryan O'Reilly, even Philip Forsberg's been there a long time. How did you manage this?
Yeah, that was tricky too. You have to navigate, obviously a room you're unfamiliar with, and when you're a captain in one place for so long and you know the ins and outs of the players and which guys respond to certain different leadership techniques and tactics, things like that. So it takes a while to read the room. And like you said, they've have established veteran leaders there already, and you don't want to come in and step on anyone's toes. And I'm sure Jonathan felt the same way, and Brady Shea and some of the other new guys. It takes a while. As much as you want it to happen overnight, sometimes it takes some time. And like I said, hopefully we're in a much better place this year, having experienced that situation last year.
Even if the results were not there, were you happy to change routine and to live something very different?
Yeah, I mean, that was one thing that was difficult, was to have different routines. I mean, sometimes you take for granted when you're in one place for so long, you're doing many things just unconsciously coming to the rink. You had your game day routine that just happened and everyone knew what you were doing, and the trainers and that, and sometimes you forget that accumulated over many years with the same people. So that was for sure a difference for me. But now you have to start some things new, and that's an exciting proposition too. So all I can say is I'm in a much better spot this year, coming in, having the house settled and the kids in school settled and knowing where we're going and things like that. It makes a difference just for your, the mental side of it.
You were not invited into the Team Canada orientation camp at the end of the summer. Did you keep faith that the good